Welcome everyone to part 2 of our 3-part series, Summer of Connectivity, Unified Access to Oracle Data. Today in the studio, we have Sumit Sarkar, our Principal Systems Engineer, Progress DataDirect. This is Marlis Furs, your host for today's session. I would like to hand today's session off to Sumit. Welcome, Sumit.
Hi, thanks, Marlis. We're going to kick off today's Part 2, Unified Access to Oracle Data. And from an Oracle perspective, I guess my experience, I have presented some sessions on Oracle data connectivity at Collaborate 12, the Oracle Users Group. I've done some IOUG webinars and presented local Oracle meetups. And I'm currently preparing for a session on cloud connectivity at Oracle Open World next month. So a lot of fun Oracle stuff going on, and I'm excited to present today. So in part 2 of the summer series, my goal is really to share at least just one really cool new trick for you with Oracle connectivity. And when I talk about connectivity, we're talking about standards-based connectivity through the standards like ODBC, JDBC, ADO.NET, even OData, and various types of applications and styles of connectivity we're going to talk about. All right, and so in the ideal world of Oracle connectivity, we've got an application, maybe an Oracle application. It's got an Oracle client installed, and it's connecting to a database. They may be on the same server, may not, but this is an ideal world, and everything looks great. It's nice and sunny. There's no problems or issues. So to contrast that a little bit, that's I think also the latest versions of Oracle here, which I know aren't always easy to keep up with. But if we look at maybe from the ideal world and then move into the real world, it looks a little bit different. So in the real world, you have some Oracle applications and non-Oracle applications. They may be running on the cloud. They may be running on-premise or in some hybrid environment. You've got different versions. There could be 8, 9, 10, or 12. And those applications may need to connect to different combinations. Maybe you need to connect to 2 of them, maybe all 3, or maybe you've got a cloud application that needs to reach back on-premise and connect to a version. So there's a lot of permutations and combinations of connectivity in the real world. And I very commonly still see applications that need connectivity that are running on 8.1.7. So it's not uncommon to see the full range. And it's not, I guess the reason maybe that I've seen is not always easy to upgrade an Oracle database. If it's maybe a system that's working in production is a legacy system, or maybe the ISV hasn't updated to the latest version in the distribution you have. So it's more common than not to have a mix of Oracle database versions from the environments I've seen. In summary, the real world ain't pretty. So there's no sunshine here in this connectivity scenario. But I think that today's webinar will talk about some of the ways to really make all this work and connect to any kind of Oracle connectivity scenario you can think of. All right, so why do we look at DataDirect for unified access or connectivity to Oracle? I think one of the big things we'll talk about is wire protocol technology, and we'll dig into that here in a moment if you're not familiar with the term. Performance is always huge, and even things like moving large bulk loads of data. And then high availability or failover is also a kind of a theme that would help benefit a lot of the connectivity into Oracle for these different environments. And security is always going to be important to any Oracle shop, since Oracle typically runs a lot of business critical applications. I know security always is on the minds of the Oracle professionals. So if we dig into the wire protocol technology, what does that mean? Who cares about it? Well, there's a lot of things that wire protocol brings to connectivity. And wire protocol is the architecture that DataDirect uses for our standards-based clients in connectivity. And what that means is we connect directly from your application into a database through the database's native interface. We don't use any clients or libraries in between. And what that enables us to do is we can support a wide range of Oracle versions with just a single DLL or shared library for ODBC, single jar file for JDBC, single managed assembly for .NET. It's just simple for OData. We can just feed out a RESTful interface from any of these versions using our technology in the back end for production. So this, we've got versions ranging from 8 all the way to 12, and we're going to keep adding support. And again, just one driver is going to support all these versions. And I think that's significant for a lot of these use cases. And when we look at the use cases, just a couple that come, I'm just thinking of some off the top of my head from recent projects. A lot of business analysts, I hear them, they inherit a new Oracle application, or there's a database upgrade that happens from IT, and all of a sudden their old clients break or become very slow. And I know that this DataDirect connectivity has been a lifesaver for these business analysts. Another example might be with Oracle business applications or stacks. I know there's some in the pharmaceuticals. There's the LIMS, the Laboratory Information Management Systems. A lot of those are built on Oracle. And if those systems, they add on a component like a chronological data service, CDS, that may have a separate Oracle home, and all of a sudden you have this conflict between the clients with this add-on module with the underlying LIMS system, and all of a sudden it's not working. So the wire protocol can really simplify the deployment of the modules and just make the systems that are within the Oracle business stack run efficiently. And then with ISVs, software vendors looking to support Oracle, just claiming support for Oracle is certainly a varied task. There's different versions, different platforms, and I know that you would have to, it might be a little bit of a nightmare to certify it for every possible scenario your customers might run out in the real world. So part of the wire protocol values, we support all these versions, we test them, and DataDirect runs like over 80 million tests across all those environments that we support. So then you can claim support for those as well with your application. And I guess you could look at it as a quality assurance as a service for these Oracle environments. We've got everything in-house in all these environments. So hopefully it's a service for the software vendors to not have to deal with all these versions and combinations. Like in the previous example, who would have thought that adding a second Oracle home to this module would have caused everything to break down? And to visualize, on the right, this is the architecture. On the left is the DataDirect. You've got your green application code, blue is our driver, and it connects directly to the database. With a classic architecture, there's there's a piece in between, which is a client library in pink, and that's typically version specific, and it may have very different performance characteristics if you run a version 11 client with a 10 database or a 9 database, and the different combinations can become overwhelming. So again, this works fine in the ideal world, but I think in the real world where you have mixed versions and you need direct connections and a wide range of support because you don't know what you're going to see out there, this wire protocol technology is great for supporting all these versions, especially reaching way back to 8.17, and we've even got older versions if you need to get back before that. And again, that direct connection is what enables that wide range of version support. All right, we talk about who cares about high performance. Everybody wants to say they want high performance. That's a given. But what does it really mean, and who's leveraging that with DataDirect technology? Well, we're seeing definitely a trend with increasing volumes of data, especially in and out of Oracle systems. There's a new growing ecosystem around Oracle with the different types of databases like NoSQL databases, big data systems. The whole ecosystem is bringing more and more data in and out of Oracle. And that, I think, a lot of the use cases we see are definitely from business intelligence and data warehousing professionals. You might have a homegrown application code or maybe some packaged ETL tool or maybe a a load utility for something else like a data warehouse or a big data system. And increasing that performance with our drivers has been huge. We hear people consistently with maybe a homegrown Java type of ETL environment, we can hear about 3x performance improvement in extracts. And that's significant for a lot of these shops to bring that data in for the downstream business intelligence use case. So warehousing is huge for performance. We also hear that for bulk load, when you start moving data back into Oracle, obviously Oracle has bulk load utilities, but there are some use cases where you might need to do something maybe with an existing application that's not necessarily written out to the SQL loader. So we have a transparent bulk load, or what we call codeless, where your existing application can just leverage the native bulk load of Oracle by flipping a switch, a connection property in the driver. And all of a sudden, those inserts are going to be using the same protocol that SQL Loader uses. So you're going to get times from like loads from maybe 20 hours to under 30 minutes. So we're seeing really, really impressive times with existing application code that don't require any code changes. It's also nice maybe not to have to manage and dump flat files. So a lot of this is all happening in memory because we're streaming it right into the database's protocol. So you don't have to call out to external code like SQL Loader, or don't have to deal with flat files as data volumes increase. The disk space and things can be potentially a challenge. So these are transparent bulk load is huge for the Oracle shops. And then going the other direction, if you're extracting data out of Oracle for some reason, our drivers, our ODBC and JDBC drivers support dumping data to CSV files. You can also consume via CSV. I mentioned earlier that you can do it through memory and stream it in, but we can also work and interchange with CSV files. So just pulling data out of Oracle as quickly as possible is also a significant use case. That kind of goes back to the warehousing use case, but you might also have other reasons to need dumping data. And maybe you have a standard internally that you need to exchange files in a common CSV format, so this can facilitate a lot of that in a standard way. Then there are other types of applications out there, maybe batch processing jobs that are kind of creeping into the next day. They might do a lot of database round trips, something maybe like a loan origination system like a Fidelity, ACBS. You can plug in, switch out the driver, and you can get a 22% improvement on performance of that batch process. These are significant improvements, especially in certain industries where every 5 minutes to 10 minutes can save you a whole business day's worth of productivity. So these are, as those batch processes get longer, this performance is great. And I know I've heard with performance in Oracle, there are great Oracle DBA teams, app teams. They've probably tuned everything as far as they can. So usually the driver, it can be maybe the last thing you check, but it's easy enough to download and give it a try just to see if it fixes things. So it's almost a good thing to try before you get down and engage everybody in the Oracle teams. Just try to switch out the driver, see if you get instant improvement on performance, and I think everybody else is doing that now. We get both. A lot of people go through everything and they give up and then point to the driver. A couple architects have used this before and they start with us. So it would be nice to give that a try if you have such a scenario to try and improve performance. All right, and failover or high availability, where is that useful? Well, I think that's maybe not useful for every application, but there are prized business applications or use cases where we see that more commonly. The way DataDirect drivers support failover is we do it at various levels, all the way up from when a connection fails, or if you're failing at the individual statement level where you're in the middle of a query, you've got your cursor positioned somewhere and there the connection goes down. Well, the drivers can transparently reconnect to that alternate mirrored database, reposition that cursor, and finish the query. So that's a really, really interesting capability. It does require a mirrored database for that level of failover. You might be wondering, Oracle does have the TAF, Transparent Application Failover. So the way it's different is that this is done at the driver level. It doesn't require any code changes to Oracle to your application in any way, and it still uses the standards of if your application is written to the JDBC application, for example. We don't require any non-JDBC compliant code. So this same code can then maybe run against SQL Server or Sybase or other databases. And we support that high availability failover with those as well. And then it's also, if you look at a rack system, we can also fail over the connection level. We can, if the rack listener goes down for some reason, we can just point to a different rack listener. So you can have a load balancing across rack listener nodes, or you can even point back to the rack, hoping that it will connect the next time if you have some kind of network hiccup. So it brings an additional layer of high availability to some environments. So again, it's something you can maybe use with rack, or you can use an alternative to rack if you want to mirror a couple databases, and you can use the failover at the driver level. And to visualize, this is a dialog in the ODBC driver. Again, this failover is all configured with drop downs and clicks. You're going to configure a couple alternate servers where you want to fail over to. Then you choose the level of failure, and then in the granularity. There's even load balancing. So this is one of many of the types of features that are built into DataDirect connectivity. And then security. I guess it's silly to ask who cares about security to Oracle folks. So anyone touching Oracle data seems to be concerned about security. And Oracle has a lot of security built in. So maybe we should focus on what do you get with drivers, DataDirect drivers that are unique and maybe different than what you have out of the box today. So with our wire protocol technology, we do support the Oracle Advanced Security. We support some features in there. More specifically, a lot of the advanced encryption standards they've added. We support DES, triple DES, RC4. There's a whole list of encryptions that we do support through our wire protocol technology, and you can use those. Maybe you have a system that's using maybe a DataDirect driver already, and then your DBA flips this on for some security or compliance, and all of a sudden they don't work. Well, our latest drivers do support this, and I know that was a big push in the industry to get support for this. So we're really excited that we can support all the Oracle security features you might require. Then if you have maybe older databases that may not have the same level of security, but you have a compliance, we have technology to encrypt data between client and server, and we can do that with a variety of different connectivity options. And then if we look at if you have now with the public cloud and private clouds and different hybrid environments, we're seeing that people are exposing more web services and things like that. But if you want the same style of connectivity, we're working with some organization that has a Oracle database in their private cloud, but they want different organizations across the U.S. to access directly into their database for reports, but they don't want to open up port numbers. They want to essentially connect from the client tool into the database over HTTPS, so it's more secure. And we have the facilities to do that. We can connect from between cross data centers. We can cross between private on-premise systems to a private cloud or a public cloud. So any of those hybrid environments, we've got this style of connectivity now enabled over HTTPS for ODBC and JDBC. And with OData production, if you've got an OData client, you can do that as well. So really cool things for the modern world of the web, and bringing these Oracle systems and bringing data throughout is a really exciting project for us when we get the opportunities. And another one is multi-tenancy. You might have an Oracle database hosted in the cloud, or it might be a data mart or data warehouse, and you want to separate out the usage to your different tenants. And newer versions of Oracle have that capability, but the older ones may not, or not all. Maybe your architecture is one where you can't really change it. So we have technology to put a layer of multi-tenancy on top of an existing Oracle database, and then each of your tenants can then connect, and they only see what they're supposed to see. We model a virtual layer on top of the schema, so only that user can see what they need to see. So I think that's another nice, capable trick up your sleeve if you're an Oracle professional trying to get your data out into the world. So these are some of the tenets of unified connectivity, again, the wire protocol message across lots of versions of Oracle, across all platforms, and basically providing support in a standard way that is just going to work for every scenario. Again, high performance and bulk load are things to build around the themes of increasing data volumes that Oracle shops are seeing around their ecosystem. And then the failover, if you want high availability for mission critical applications, we have a lot of supplementary technology there to help you with your projects. And then security. Again, those, I think the more unique things supporting all the things Oracle supports is definitely great. But adding those extra features like encryption where Oracle may not have an older version of Oracle or different versions, the multi-tenancy for the cloud environment, cloud applications, or even internal private clouds, and the SQL over HTTPS, communicating without having to deal with VPN or having to set up different technology or security things, getting IT involved. You can do it yourself with our technology. All right, so I think hopefully you've learned at least one new trick or something new that you didn't know before. I do encourage you to download a trial and just give it a try, experience what all these features mean and do for you. We have some of those features are off of our DataDirect products. Some of them are on our DataDirect cloud, and you can download a trial of either. And you can also read about different projects or use cases on our blogs. You can visit the blogs.datadirect.com and query Oracle. You'll find a lot of connectivity use cases in various directions for both ISVs or Oracle shops. And then if you're interested in more of these mind-boggling prezzies, you can check out the ones on the Oracle Gateway, which takes connectivity in a different direction. It's looking at federating non-Oracle data and making it look like it's an Oracle, so your downstream Oracle applications can get to data in the, you can query in real time a big data system like Cloudera or Impala's the world. It can do a NoSQL like a MongoDB and have a real-time access. It can hit SaaS sources like Salesforce, other SQL sources, other SQL Server, DB2, or anything out there you can think of. Make it that we present that through ODBC as make the non-Oracle systems look like Oracle. And then again, that SQL over HTTPS, so Prezi to learn more about that and how you can get started on enabling the Oracle data through the web. And this is the end of concluding our second in the series of 3 for Summer of Connectivity series. You heard Dion last week with Salesforce. This week is Oracle. Next week will be SQL Server. And I encourage you to sign up for that on September 3rd, 11 a.m. And if you have any questions, I'd like to know what questions or comments you have. And if you don't have them right now, you can contact us on the forum. And you can always reach me directly. You got Twitter and LinkedIn. Or you can contact us again. That form will find its way to me, hopefully somehow, or to one of my peers. So I'm going to stop here and see what Q&A I have. And let's see. I'll look at the list of things I've got through the window. So let me start with the first one. So the question is, what does an Oracle application need to support the transparent bulk load? So the application needs to be written in a way that it can load data through in a batch way. Like for ODBC, it's going to use what we call ODBC array inserts. So things like these are how most of the ETL tools are written. Things like the Informatica's DataStage, SSIS 2012. They're all written in that way, so they can all leverage transparent bulk insert if they don't already support it through our technology. So again, for ODBC, it needs to support ODBC array inserts. For JDBC, it needs to be using JDBC batches. So today, the majority of applications that are inserting large amounts of data are already using batches, so they can just leverage that bulk load transparently. The second question is, how does the SQL over HTTPS work from an architecture standpoint? So the way it works is you have an Oracle database running somewhere, whether it's on premise or in maybe an Amazon public cloud behind VPC. So this is supported through the DataDirect Cloud connectivity service. So DataDirect Cloud it communicates over HTTPS from your client, and then DataDirect Cloud will then communicate to an on-premise connector that resides behind your firewall or behind the firewall of your public or private cloud. And so all that communication is bridged through HTTPS and is enabled by our DataDirect cloud service. And so everything is encrypted. There's over the wire between the different hops across the networks. So that's how the architecture works. And you can see the diagram at datadirectcloud.com. And you can even try it out and see how that looks and feels for you. Last question is, how does your technology go around the Oracle database client? And is this supported by Oracle? To answer that question, we communicate with the same low-level database APIs as Oracle's clients do, so that that is in effect supported by Oracle. And if you were to Google things about Oracle and DataDirect, you'll see that we have a strong partnership where a lot of our technology is using the Oracle stack. And if there's ever questions, we are both members of the tsanet.org so that we can collaborate on issues. So when you're in the middle between a data connectivity issue and something with Oracle, we get together and knock it out for you rather than having to go back and forth between one vendor and another vendor. So that's a really positive avenue for our end customers, in addition to the numerous relationships we have with Oracle from partnerships. So it looks like those are the only questions I had. And I encourage you to contact us with anything that comes up. I know we talked about a lot of the tricks in the bag for future use, and I'm sure one of them will come in handy, and we look forward to hearing from you when you're ready to use one of them.
Thank you, Sumit, and thanks everyone for joining. We look forward to seeing everyone and hearing from you on our third and last part of the summer series.